So this is interesting. I wanted to go out there and read this article that was posted and just dive into a discussion about the Detroit Red Wings, try to see what's going on and get the tail of the tape as to what Wings fans feel about this organization. The Red Wings are playing off against the Washington Capitals later today. I'm not going to be able to watch the game, unfortunately, because I'm out and about. Actually in America, so yeah, I'll be on my own trip doing my own thing, but this video will be published before the Wings and the Caps game. We'll see what happens with Alexander Ovechkin, because he should be playing, right? Not too sure. I'm recording this video in advance anyway, but still, I wanted to go over to an article published on NHLTradeRumors.me. This was written and posted by Rob Couch from December 24th, and it's a very interesting idea that I wanted to dive into here. Red Wings. It's when, not if, Patrick Kane gets traded. Whoa, okay. Hold your horses there, Batman. What are you doing assuming that some guy on the Red Wings is already going to get traded? What's your argument here? Why are we discussing this? Is it too early to start coming to conclusions about where the Wings are and the standings and what that means for the players who don the winged wheel at this point? Who knows? Let's dive into what the article says. It starts out by talking about how the Wings are not really doing all too hot this season, how they're 28th in the NHL, and they are second last in the entire Eastern Conference. We all recognize that the team has had difficulty stringing together results in a positive way and finding consistency. Hopefully that improves under Todd McLellan. We did say that it probably is best to give McLellan some time, some breathing room to fully assess what he's got before coming to any conclusions about trades, but still, this article was written and published before Derek Lalonde was fired after all, so maybe this entire dynamic is different. The Red Wings, at the time of the article's publication before the break, were 30th in goals for with 87, 21st in goals against with 111, and tied for 30th in goal differential in 34 games, minus 23. This isn't all one player's fault, but as far as production has gone, Patrick Kane has not been a difference maker as advertised. He can still produce even those 5 goals and 14 points, which suggests he's fallen off a fair bit. The former Stanley Cup champion also wants to win, and in the final year of his contract, it does not seem like he is going to have that chance with the Detroit Red Wings. Kane's contract does expire at the end of the season, making $4 million. He's 36 years old, and he is on pace this season for a whopping 36 points, which would be one of the worst seasons he has ever had in his entire career, assuming he does play the 77 games that he is on pace to playing. I mean, Patty Kane has never, ever been this unproductive in his entire career, which is, you know, not surprising. I mean, Patty Kane was always good ever since he made his debut in the NHL at 18 years old, but this is kind of the turning point after the surgery. Kind of odd because the surgery happened last year, and last year he was still productive. This season, things aren't really clicking all too well, and we will see whether or not a Todd McLellan 1-2-1 style will fit his overall offensive capabilities, but still, the article dives into how Kane is on the final year of his deal, and he isn't really doing all too hot. It hasn't worked out for the Wings since Kane signed with them. They missed the playoffs last year, and they have taken a step back in 24-25. Okay, I kind of disagree with this assessment here. Kane was really good with Detroit last season, and the reason I say that is straight up, he was productive. That's it. Like, when you sign Patrick Kane, when you acquire this guy, you are not looking for defensive play. You are not looking for two-way stability. You're not looking for a guy to go out there and penalty kill. You're looking for a freaking point-per-game superstar. And that's what Patrick Kane was, for the most part, last season with the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, he was slightly under a point per game with 47 points in 50 games, but still, the guy was coming off a hip resurfacing surgery. The fact that he played 50 games and looked decent in them was good enough. Add on 47 points and you have yourselves a player package that a lot of people wanted to see get brought back to Detroit, which is why they signed him again. The Red Wings can retain half of Kane's cap hit, but like Kane controlled where he was traded to from Chicago to New York, there is a good chance he does the same if he can this season. Even with a lower cap hit, he might find it a bit tougher because his production is down. But a team like the Dallas Stars, who lost Tyler Seguin, could have a spot opened up with cap space, and they are a serious contender as usual. Kane is a winner, and that is a major factor in contending teams' decisions to bring someone in. The real question is whether the Wings look to move Kane. His trade to the Rangers from the Blackhawks was at the deadline, and it does not look good in Detroit right now. While it would make sense to move on from the veteran sooner, a trade will likely take place at the deadline again. There will be a coaching change before that happens if this path continues. And that is exactly what happened. Nice to see Rob Couch is observant enough to understand what was going on because, yeah, Derek Lalonde did get fired. So, big flashback over to a few days ago when he was still the head coach. But for Patty Kane, when I think about him going over to a team like the Dallas Stars, for example, the Stars have been a strange, interesting team this year. Ever since Tyler Seguin was taken out of the lineup on the LTIR, his line mates, Mason Marchment and Matt Duchene, just kind of stopped producing. It's kind of weird. The Stars have been getting good production from some other guys. I mean, Logan Stankoven has been decent to solid. Wyatt Johnston has had good bursts of stretches here and there. Don't get me wrong, Marchment is still one of the top point guys on the team, but as somebody who has owned Marchment and Duchene in fantasy for a good chunk of the season, I've been very disappointed with what they've been doing ever since that Tyler Seguin injury. And if you assume that Seguin comes back before the start of the playoffs, maybe some LTIR shenanigans go down here in Dallas, if you assume Kane, Seguin, let's just say Duchene, who has been usually pretty good, Marchment, Wyatt Johnston, Stankoven, even Jamie Benn is in there still. There's a lot of potential for the Dallas Stars to do some pretty big damage, and they have been one of the better teams the past few years consistently in the National Hockey League, despite the fact that Miro Heiskanen is in some kind of a lull right now. Heck, we didn't even talk about Jason Robertson. We had this entire diatribe talking about good Dallas Stars players, and I completely forgot to mention Jason Robertson. Oh wait, maybe it's because he isn't really all too good anymore. Anyways, Patrick Kane getting added onto this squad I feel like would be nearly perfect, especially if you play him alongside of a speedy, just overall pace of play dictating mammoth like Matt Duchene is. He is such an incredible skater, lots of pace, lots of effort there. Maybe that's exactly what Patrick Kane needs, so he can coast along and just kind of do what he needs to do in the offensive zone with his stick handles and his quick dekes, while everybody else around him does the work. I get it, that's not really the prototypical archetype you want out of an NHL acquisition, but come on, it's Patty Kane. Like, the guy's probably the best American player of all time, if not the best. Absolutely. And would it not be kind of poetic for two of the best American players of all time, in Modano and Kane, to have both suited up for Dallas at some point in their careers? So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, whether or not you think this trade idea really is something worth paying attention to, that it's a matter of when, not if, Patrick Kane gets traded. Obviously, if things switch around, like tomorrow, if the Wings start winning today against Washington, they start winning all their games and they make the playoffs and whatever, they're not going to trade away Patrick Kane. They're going to keep him around. They're going to stick around with that playoff vision, forcing themselves into the wild card conversation like they had done last season. And if Kane is the team's top point scorer in that span, then hey, so be it. They're going to keep him. They've got no choice. Stevie Y wants the team to be competitive. But if they keep on sucking under Todd McClellan, we'll wait and see what happens, whether or not Kane does get moved later on in the year. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Patty Kane is going to head over to a team like the Dallas Stars, for example? Do you think it's worth thinking about? What are your thoughts about the profile and the progression from last season up until this season for number 88, and do you think that his future lies with the Detroit Red Wings? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.